what issues will decide your vote?
Well, that's a great question, because I think that the promises in the federal budget are issues that are important to me. Long-term care, but not just building more warehouse buildings. More creative long-term care. Certainly the child care that was promised. Pharmacare that was promised.
I guess the big thing for me is environmental, which I feel like is, all of young people's main concern, sustainability. Obviously, like social issues like affordability. I know that the economy is like a rank thing to control, right? But especially for like my generation right now, like for example in Regina, like the housing market is pretty bad.
A lot with infrastructure, schools, mostly infrastructure. I'm an iron worker, so I do want the highways better, and relieve some traffic in the area and things like that. Like we can build all these high rises here. But the more we build up, the more we're going to need to build our streets, and we're going to need to build our highways better, because there's a lot of people coming to Kelowna, and we're going to need to relieve some of that congestion. So that's what I would go with.
People on retirement don't have a living wage. A lot of people don't have a living wage. People can't afford pharmaceuticals. Those are usually the issues that inspire me, but of course there's a lot of social justice issues and things as well that also parties, you can't get that stuff wrong. You have to get it right, because people are, as we age and culture changes, people understand what they did wrong in the past, and you got to get that stuff right now.
Climate change, there's a lot of issues in this world, and if we don't get things under control, like with respect to right now out in western Canada, some of the states, we've got terrible heat waves, setting record temperatures. There's a lot of problems in the world with recycling, that type of thing. There has to be a lot of things done, so I think that's very, very important.
All the issues are important because I think they weave together to form the country that we want to live in, and I don't think you can pull out any one thing and say this is the most important. The environment, homelessness, First Nation issues, healthcare, education, they all are, well, education is actually provincial, not federal, but they all are woven together in a whole.
What issues would I? Obviously, environment. It's becoming more and more an important and crucial topic. It's been ignored for so many years. The genocide that has happened to First Nations, the Indigenous peoples of this country, that's our original sin. We need to really act on that, and with immediacy and honesty and clarity.
I think it's going to be tricky because the federal debt has run up really high, and there's no miracle in it. You can still keep spending to support a number of initiatives, which are all good. However, how are we going to work our way out of it, And that's a big unknown.
Canada needs to pivot to better energy sources. And I get the impression that some people are, and I see why, but we're stuck in sort of a toxic cycle of resources and depleting them. So, yeah, that's to me the biggest thing.
Funding for the arts, especially for young people, really young people, like children and teenagers and stuff like that, more venues and stuff like that that can help them. Just resources to help teach people who are underprivileged and stuff like that. That kind of stuff would make a big difference for me and who I would vote for.
Indigenous issue, how they're going to resolve that, how they're going to bring Canadians together on that issue. And I guess what's going to happen, how are we going to pay for COVID? How is that going to impact our taxes for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years?
Yeah.
It seems pretty obvious to me that the environment and our relationship to the Indigenous people has to be sort of everything going forward.
I don't know. I think this time around it's probably going to be environment, COVID recovery. Those are probably the two biggest ones right now.
Federally, I think they're just going to do what they want to do. I'm more of a provincial guy, and I'm more concerned about what they do as a province as compared to federally. I mean, to me, federally flows money to the province. That's the only thing I get out of the federal government. I don't look at the federal government for anything else.
Well, being a senior, obviously, issues concerning seniors would be, I'm always up that sort of information. And I guess, like everything else, it's, the economy, global warming, the whole, I guess, broad breadth of issues, but they all play a part.
Homelessness would be a big thing. I mean, there's so many homeless people here now. It's terrible since the pandemic. And people just on assistance, they can't afford, you know what I mean? They only give you $5.35 a month. And yeah, homelessness would be a big thing.
How to help the country out of the pandemic well without creating billions of more in debt?
I'm pretty simple. The main thing I want to see change is the first past the post system, though I don't think that's one that's likely to change anytime soon, sadly.
It doesn't seem like much happens here. You know, yeah, the pipeline was a big deal, but we still got all kinds of educational problems, medical aid problems, homeless problems, things like that, which by all appearances, they're just problems and everybody sort of goes by and, is that what we want?